It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show. It's the Dep Lewis Show.
Welcome to the Dep Lewis Show. This is episode 9. This is your host, Dep Lewis, and today is Sunday, December 4th, 2022. We are firmly in the holiday season here in the United States of America. We are ready for that jolly man to come down the chimney and bring gifts to everyone who's been good and some people who've been bad. So a lot of those gifts could possibly be video games. So what's up to you out there, video gamers? It's a great time to be a video gamer as usual. Welcome to the show. This is episode 9, the 9th installment of the world famous Dep Lewis Show. The podcast that just keeps on coming, keeps on giving, keeps on getting downloads, keeps on getting views, new listeners every day, and it's been going crazy. So it's been awesome. Welcome back. So I'm going to give you your homework, your initial homework of the episode, like always. I'm going to set the tone. I'm going to be bossy as fuck and tell you what to do. You need to follow Dep Lewis Show everywhere. You need to like, you need to subscribe, you need to rate, you need to comment, you need to review, you need to turn on notifications, and you need to tell a friend or tell an enemy or tell anyone you can think of that has access to a podcasting platform. And then you can email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com if you'd like to talk to me directly. I've received a few emails from some people. They've been kind of nice. It's been kind of cool to get reached out to since this is a world famous podcast. And so please email there and listen to all that. Listen to all those things I just told you. Where to follow the Dep Lewis Show. You can also catch the full episodes of the show on Apple Podcast, on Spotify, on YouTube, on Patreon, and more on my Buzzsprout page. You can also subscribe to my Patreon if you'd like. There's just a general support tier open right now. It's for $1 a month, and that price will never change, and you will always get access to any of the content that I post on Patreon. So that is future planning. That is future planning for the Dep Lewis Show. The Dep Lewis Show could one day have some other amazing content on there that is either more expensive or behind a different paywall or something, you know? And you, as a ground floor tier member, the first 100 supporters of this podcast will get access to the Dep Lewis Show content always. You are the ground floor tier, and you are number 1 through 100 in my eyes. So I just wanted to put that out there. It's just a really nice way to support the podcast. So please, if you want to do that, go to patreon.com/DepLewisShow. You can find clips of the show on YouTube and TikTok. Please like my clips on TikTok. So I feel like that's a good avenue for me to get some clips out of the podcast with some gameplay footage and hopefully entice some people to come listen to this great show that I have for you today and that I've had for you for 8 whole weeks. And it's going to be going on into infinity and beyond. So that's what we're doing today. We're doing the Dep Lewis Show here, baby. So we're going to start with the notes from the last show. A few little corrections. I mentioned in God of War Ragnarok that there's a kind of an underlying ongoing prophecy that Atreus is going to die. See, I'm already fucking it up. But I said last time the prophecy is that Atreus is going to die, but actually the prophecy is that Kratos is going to die. So dum dum dum, Kratos. But it's just a prophecy right now, so it's not a spoiler. So allegedly he's going to die. So don't freak out there. I forgot the spoiler warning that. So the other thing, there was a sort of a low humming at the beginning of section 2 last week. I don't really know what it was. I don't know if it was like something running, like my laptop running a little bit or something. I have no clue. But I apologize for any of the sound quality stuff. I pay millions and millions of dollars to have this corrected, and I just can't seem to get it right. So I think it's completely out of my hands is what I got to say. And I'm trying my best here. So hopefully today will be a pretty noise-free episode. I think it sounded good so far. I don't hear any too much, as you can hear a squeak in the background, but I don't hear too much other commotion outside or anything too crazy. The birds aren't going ham quite yet, so it should be a great day for a podcast. I do have my pup over there squeaking her toy, so she's getting on the podcast too. And there it goes again. More notes from last show. Nintendo Life is a YouTube channel that I like to follow. Alex is one of the main guys, or the main guy on there. I've also watched Felix on there do some Splatoon 3 content, which was really cool, but I'm usually checking in there for Alex's takes on anything Nintendo, and I was watching him do some Pokemon stuff, so he was being a little bit nitpicky on the Pokemon. I'm not saying that in a negative way, but he was really looking at the game in a way that I wouldn't look at it, kind of more, I don't know if he's in game development or just been around it for a while or whatever, but he was noticing like cloud patterns and shadows and things like that, so that's not things that I immediately would probably be able to verbalize that I'm looking at, but I could probably say the game just doesn't look good or something is what I would say. But just wanted to shout those guys out because they do a good job on Nintendo Life on the YouTube channel. And then my other correction was God of War Ragnarok. I should have talked about this when I was talking about Kratos, and this is spoiler alert if you're a spoiler dude or whatever you may please. I have the Blades of Chaos, not the Chains of Olympus. So I said I had the Chains of Olympus because they look kind of chain-like. I'm not the biggest expert in God of War, but I actually have the Blades of Chaos. So when I went back playing, I wanted to double check what the name was, and they're actually blades. So those things are really cool, though. I still stand by that it's nice to have those alongside the axe. I don't know if I like the blades better than the axe at this point, but it's a pretty close war. I'd say the war is probably still being won by the axe side, but the blades have had a few decisive battles and are still fighting hard, so we'll see. We'll determine how that goes later on in the game and in the podcast world and the podcast stuff, but yeah, the Blades of Chaos are what I'm rocking with in that game, so it's been pretty cool. So those are my notes from last show. I'm going to try to be better this show. I'd love to have an episode where I don't feel like I said something stupid or fumbled a word or got a fact wrong, but, shit's going to happen. I have a whole crack team of people that listen to the show for factual inaccuracies after, and they come back to me with pages and pages of notes of things I could do better. So we're trying to improve this podcast every week, and hopefully that's being showcased week to week with this show. So we're going to keep on going, but we're going to get here, and we're going to start this show today. We're going to start it with the main thing that we like to talk about on this show, and that is the video games. And you're a video gamer out there. That's why you're probably listening to this show. That's probably why you're here for this content. So I'm going to tell you about a great video game that I've been banging the drum for since September, and that is Splatoon 3. We're going to kick the show off with that game because I had something incredible happen to me this week. And yes, I turned a year older, but that was not the incredible thing that happened. I was sitting in my house one day, and a knock happens at my door, an unexpected knock. And I open my door, and what's sitting out there but a box? And do I know what's in this box? No. Do I have any clue what's in this box? No. Do I know why this box is here? Sort of. It was, my birthday, so it's one of the clues. But I opened this box, and what's looking back at me but 3 Splatoon 3 amiibo. The coolest, newest Splatoon 3 amiibos that exist, and they were right on my doorstep, and it's pretty amazing. So I am now the proud owner of the Inkling Yellow, the Octoling Blue, and the littlest homie of all little homies, Small Fry. So I got 3 new amiibo. I haven't actually opened them from the boxes yet. I don't know if I will, because they kind of look really good in there with the art in the background, and they just look, it kind of looks like a little display case for them. So they're on my bookshelf right now, looking really nice. And I was actually able to scan in, hey, Squeaks, cut it out over there. I was actually able to scan in the Inkling Yellow into the game while still in the box, so that was cool. I was reading that this was not possible before, that they used to have a strip on the bottom of the box that would prevent you from scanning it in the box, so it would force you to have to open your amiibo to use them. But I guess they got enough feedback and critique that people like to leave these in the box. So they have now figured out the packaging science has really moved forward, and you can now scan your amiibo through the box onto your console. I gotta say, I did try it with the Pro Controller, trying to hit the sweet spot on that, and wasn't able to. But when I used the console and the handheld, I was able to just easily put it on the analog stick on the right Joy-Con, and it read it very easily. And you have to do it a few times while you're doing it. They want you to, I forget why, you had to scan it once and then scan it again to confirm something, but it was pretty cool. And the Yellow Inkling the lady gave me a pair of boots I could rock. So each one of these amiibos comes with some I guess exclusive gear, and each time you load them in there, so I have to scan her again and talk to her or whatever, and she'll give me another item. So I'm guessing there's a finite amount of these for each one, but it makes you interact with them a couple of times to get all the options. So that's pretty cool. And then it was saying one argument for opening the amiibo would be if you played amiibo and had a lot of friends that played Splatoon, and you had a lot of friends that played Splatoon, you could put your custom characters on your amiibo, and you could use that to go to your friend's house and load it into their game or whatever, if you wanted to play with your character with your particular gear, is how I believe it works. So that would be kind of cool. That seems like something almost like a little LAN party-ish back in the day, like you'd be taking your console to someone's house. But this is just a small version of that, but it's just neat. Ultimately, the amiibo just look really cool. The designs on them are awesome. The little ink splats on them are awesome. So that was just really cool. I mentioned, in a way earlier podcast that those were getting available for pre-order. I missed the pre-order, and then I looked on Amazon, and they were long gone, so I wasn't able to buy them, and I kind of just gave up hope. And then one of my friends found them on Nintendo.com, so he went straight to the source. He got them pure amiibo from Mr. Nintendo himself. So just thank you to that friend. He's a great friend, and I'm really happy about these new amiibo that I got on my shelf. And I played some I played some Splatoon this week, not way too much. The new chill season just started, so that was something new going on. The chill season is from 11:30. That's when it started. So just been going for a couple days, and it goes till February 28th. So I've done some rapid calculations, and that looks like a 3-month time frame for the new season, and that adds up with last season. Last season started 8/31 and ran through that 11/30 date. So that was about 3 months too on the drizzle season 2022. But we are now in the chill season, and I got a C- last season on my Dep Lewis Show profile, but my built-in excuse for that was that I started my profile late. I used to use my other profile, my main deputy profile, but then I switched to my Dep Lewis Show account so I could be more accessible and just start something new and great. So I think I'm rank 11 right now. I think I was up to like 16 or 17 on my other profile, so I'm working through it. My first profile got the majority of my, playing for tons of hours, but now I'm just kind of catching games here and there, but I'm still enjoying it ever so much. Let's see what else I got here for these notes. I got some more gear I like. I'm finally having a couple of different options in each slot that I can use, which is nice. So I'm not feeling my characters so ugly with their clothes. And I got that. I was rocking this like blue jersey shirt, it looks like a soccer jersey, and I'm rocking that. I was rocking that on my old character too, but I'm glad to get that because it's a really cool piece and helps me easily pick the other two. But I would ultimately like to get something, and I would ultimately like to quit saying ultimately, but I would ultimately like to get some cool fucking gear. I saw a guy last night with like a motorcycle helmet and has this whole dude decked out, and then I saw one guy, with his main gear slot say it was ink resistance, and then he had his other 3 little mini slots or 4 mini slots. They were all ink resistance too, so he was stacking that thing. So I don't know if the stacking really helps, but I really only been liking 3 abilities on the gear, so I would love to be able to have all 3 stats maxed out with the one gear. So I need to look into this stuff. I kind of want to vow to do that this week, but never know how things go in this video game world. When you're living a normal life and running a world famous podcast, life can be a little hectic, but that's something I want to figure out at some point. I actually just dropped down the cold hard cash for the annual subscription to the Nintendo Switch Online. I went to play Splatoon last night to grab some footage, and it said, "Hey, dude, you don't have Nintendo Switch Online. What are you, an idiot? What are you, dumb? What are you, stupid? What are you, messed up in the head?" And I said, "Yeah, that's what I am." I said, "I have a favorite game, and I can't even play it right now online." So I went ahead and just dropped the $21.19, and I can play Splatoon Online for a year. So I really think I'll keep rolling with this game. I really, really like it. Can't speak highly enough of it. Let's think. Yeah, last season I got a C-. Yeah, that was kind of lame. They have 2 new maps with the new season, Brinewater Springs and Flounder Heights. I don't know if I think I've probably played these, but I don't know if I've played them enough to have any commentary on them yet, but it's pretty cool. They add some new stages into the game, so Splatoon 3 is still rocking out there. I hope a lot of people are still playing it. I'm really excited about the new season. I want to try to get my rank higher, that's for sure, so I'll be checking back in to see if I can get above a C- for this next season, because that would be really cool. And I have my Switch Online subscription, so I got no reason not to play the Splatoon. So shout out to all my Splat people out there, all the Splatooners, all my Splat ninjas. Yeah, I was singing God Bless All the Splat Ninjas. You pop up before you refill your ink, you're getting splatted. So you better watch out there. Splatoon 3, it's a great game. Go buy it. I did see it was on sale again recently, so I don't know what else to tell you about it. You should go cop it. You need to figure out your monies and go buy it, honeys. So the next game we're going to talk about is a game that I started last week that is a really, really cool game. It's called God of War Ragnarok. So shout out to Kratos, shout out to Atreus, shout out to that bear, shout out to the witch, and she's either a falcon or a hawk. I can't remember which one that is. Shout out to Odin being a jerk. Shout out to Thor for being awesome. Those were the highlights from last week. And I've made some good progress this week. I actually got to the part where it turns into open world as far as God of War does. So I have a main mission story beat that I can go to, but it also opened 3 side quests for me. And the 3 side quests have been, you're going to the, I think it's Destroyer, turn the fire out on these mining rigs. I put my notes. I said these missions have been fun. I'm 2 out of 3 mining rigs complete as of typing this. I had to look up for a clue in a chest for this section. This spoiler alert. If you're worried about that, just say that again. I'm just gonna kind of talk freely about what I want on this podcast. But it was funny. I did notice This was the first time in this game, I think I'm like 4 hours in, that I had to look something up. I'm usually pretty bad at puzzles or pretty bad at figuring out some of these sections in these kind of games. But this thing I had to look up. It wasn't completely unknown to me. Once I looked it up, I'm like, damn it, I did see those barrels looked weird, and I actually tried to chop the barrels, but you just need to shoot them, and then it opens up a section right behind there. So I don't know. I think it's the game design. I think they realize that there's people like me out there, and there's probably a good majority of us out there that are kind of stupid. But this game has been super fun. Boating around has been really fun. That whole water wheel mining rig area has been so cool. I guess I haven't even talked about this. I did the podcast early last week, so this has been a long time ago. And I think I only had really one session again with God of War since then. But pulling up to that dwarf city was awesome. There was a giant statue of Odin there. The dwarves all run and hide because they're scared. They're not used to seeing other people besides dwarves. And they're taking that as a negative sign. But you're walking around their city, and you're seeing all their tiny houses, and that's really cool. All the different like little dwarf architecture. And there's lots of color in this section. And just kind of different from it's really a stark contrast from the snowy section. This section was actually the color and stuff was reminding me of Horizon Forbidden West, for good or for worse, with the graphics there. And those stupid green waves were something. This game is doing like the Metroid thing to you, where you're seeing something but you can't access it. And there were some green waves, and I was wondering what the hell they were as you're going through the city. But then you actually get to be able to shoot these waves with Atreus' bow. And it kind of like changes things or opens the package. And this was reminding me of the light bow from the first game that you get from The Witch. But this game has been really cool. Like I said in the intro, I really like the chains of Olympus. Is that what they're called? No, the Blades of Chaos. The Blades of Chaos are really cool. I like the grappling effect on them. You can really zoom back and forth really quickly. And I feel like Kratos is a good bit more mobile in this game. Like even hitting the ledges and jumping down and climbing the ropes and sprinting and just doing everything you can as Kratos just feels really good. And that's just kind of a cool surprise. It's almost a little platforming out here, and then you add the fighting in there, and it's really fun. So shout out to Santa Monica Studios for putting a great product out here. I'm pretty sure the God of War Ragnarok has jumped onto my game of the year list for 2022, so we're going to see where that falls before the end of the year. I only have a little bit of time, to really keep gathering some information for the year. So I don't have to crunch some things, but we're getting down to the nitty gritty of the game of the year. So God of War Ragnarok, I'm going to continue playing some of that, and I think you should too. I would highly recommend that. And I haven't even finished the prior game, and I'm really liking this one. So I think it would be safe if you just were interested in this and wanted to play, you could jump right in. I think it is a little bit easier to start seeing consoles out there. When I was at Best Buy the other day, there was definitely Series X's behind the counter and a pretty good number. I don't believe now thinking I saw any PlayStations, but they had the MetaQuest. Don't quote me on this. It might have been the 4, might be the 2, but there was a huge stack of MetaQuest in there, and there was someone actually taking a picture of them, being surprised that they were all there, I guess, or just thinking they were cool. I don't really know, but I'm not as tuned into the VR world, but that person was particularly excited for seeing them, so it's kind of cool. I don't know if I'd ever want to. Well, yeah, I would want to buy VR at some point, but it's just not on a high priority list. Buying some VR at some point would be cool, and so would buying a Steam Deck. But those are two things that I don't necessarily really need. I'm not even sure if the Steam Deck would be cool, but I just don't know how necessary they are. But really cool stuff. The last two games we'll just talk really quick about these last two, because these are something that I want to plan to play this week, because I need to get some more information on them. And I own both of these games on Nintendo Switch, so that's why I'm talking about them in this what I'm playing section, because I really need to tell myself to play them. Because those games are Olli World and Neon White. So I want to at least play these games for a little bit, so I can see if I think they could possibly be a contender for the Game of the Year list. I bought Olli World back early in the year when it came out. I think it was it was a Q1 release. But it came around the time, there's tons of games. This was a great year for video games. So Olli World kind of fell by the wayside. I don't know if I like it or not, so I wanted to get back in there and play it. So I have it on my Switch. I'm going to try that out. I hopefully will try that out this week just for a little bit. Both these games are not like giant games. They seem, like you can maybe get some further play out of like the repetition of levels possibly, but I should be able to get into these games just for a little bit this week and be able to have a good sense for if I like them or not. So that is my plan for this week, and amongst other games that I'm playing. So if you would like to look out for some of that content next week, we should have it here for you on the Dep Lewis Show. So Olli World and Neon White, those should be things that I'm playing next week a little bit of to get a sense for Game of the Year. And then another game I've been playing this week is the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I'm playing this on the PlayStation 5. I actually got to play with a friend this week, which I guess that always enhances your experience with a multiplayer game. We didn't even talk in the microphones, but just having your buddy there, and it gives you somebody, like a designated someone to kind of try to follow around or, team up with. And then you know that you have someone else that's in the match trying to actually win it with you. That's not just fooling around or, being a dummy. So we had some pretty good success. I don't know, we played maybe 6 matches or so. We had some pretty good KDs a few times. We were catching a groove. So I don't know. That'd be nice to keep up with that and keep the Call of Duty going. I had to pay for the damn PS Plus monthly subscription again. So that's still a conundrum in my life of which online service to subscribe to, since I'm not normally doing that. Now I got to get back into it and laying down my cash. So I'm paying for the PS Plus, and we'll just see. It's an expensive thing to have to do with these games. But God of War. But Call of Duty is very fun. I'm still switching between the P90 and the M4. I'm switching a little bit more, just kind of depending on the map. But I still think the P90 is my best gun. I still think the quickness of it is lending itself well to my play style, and I'm able to get some nice shots off with it. And I'm still really liking all the maps. I was noticing again that I still think the intros are cool. I still like the intros to the multiplayer matches, of where you're grappling into the level or have some type of standoff or situation going on, and then the multiplayer match starts. And then just another note, the cross-platform stuff works really nicely. I had to type my friend's Activision tag in with all those numbers at the end, but that was about as difficult as it got, and then we were able to match up and play. So just shout out for all the cross-platform stuff, making life easy out there, and it's really fun. So Call of Duty's been an excellent game this year. It is definitely going to be on my Game of the Year list, but where it falls is still undetermined. Let's see. I heard Jeff Gerstmann mentioning that it's easier to prestige in this game, so I like the sounds of that. So that, since I don't have all the time in the world to dedicate to all of these games, and he was saying he's already done it twice. So Jeff is a good North Star for Call of Duty. If you follow Jeff, he's usually a good indicator if it's a good Call of Duty, and he's been playing a lot of it. And I think the last one that he was on this hard was 2019. So in Jeff we trust for Call of Duty and other gaming knowledge for sure. So just another good positive thing about this game for you to hear about it, and if you want to play it, it'd be a great reason to do it, and I think you should. So shout out to Call of Duty. I'm trying to think if I have any other Call of Duty thoughts. I still like using the pistol. It's really fun. I just really kind of noticed that I can change my character around, so I want to do that. I'm still using the default guy, but notice I actually had unlocked a few different options, which is nice. I was expecting to only have one other option, but I had a few different guys, a few different ladies, all different styles of kind of stuff on both sides. So I definitely want to pick someone else to individualize the Dep Lewis Show Call of Duty guy and character. And then the also thing I want to figure out too with my Call of Duty is I need to check in on my attachments. I've been ranking up. I haven't really been changing my loadouts too much, so I need to see if I've obtained any new attachments that would be useful or help me from my different builds. And then I'd like to see possibly if I've unlocked any new weapons that I want to use, but I'm pretty comfortable with the 2 that I'm using right now, and feel like I'm actually getting a little bit better with them, so it must be getting comfortable with them. So maybe just need to keep plugging along with those. But it's really fun that I can play with a friend, or I have some other friends that play too, so that'll be a good that'll just be a good indicator for getting some games in. If I forgot to play some Call of Duty or haven't played it, maybe I'll get a chance to play with one of them, and then they'll give me some content to talk about on this show as well. So that's just a win-win situation in the video game world. The last game I just want to highlight that I've been playing, I just wanted to cut a little promo for it here at the end, because it's such a great game, and it's Vampire Survivors. Hooray! Antonio Belpezzi, what you doing out there? You killing those motherfucking vampires out there. They're not surviving. You're surviving, Antonio. And you're getting that plus 10 experience on every 10 levels or whatever it is. But I played just a little bit of this. I'm still liking the garlic and bumping into those bats. That's my main move. I just get that garlic, and then I go walk into those bats, have them drop their blue jewels, and then I'm leveling my ass up. I actually just put 647 experience points or gold or whatever it is that you're powering up with, and I put it into luck. I've been using the luck sometimes too on the level, and it's just been kind of fun. I don't know exactly what it's doing, but I want to be lucky. So I paid the big bucks. I paid that $6.47, and now I got an extra boost in my luck. So it's going to be helping me out in this game. I still can't say enough for playing this game on Xbox on the big screen with the Xbox controller. It's really, really awesome. I wish I had the option to buy this game on PlayStation. I wish I had the option to buy it on my Switch, because I would do it. On this game is $4.99, or you can play it on Game Pass. I think I just want to go ahead and pay the $4.99 because I don't want to subscribe to Game Pass always. So they're probably going to get another $5 out of me so I can play this on my Xbox. And I want this to come out on Switch. I think that would be the most epic. I think that would be the best place to have a long-lasting copy of Vampire Survivors, would be on the Switch. Steam Deck would also be cool too, but just having it mixed into the Switch ecosystem with all their other games available on the console would make that thing super strong, even though the Switch is already super strong. And they just need to make it happen. I just need the universe to conspire. Like I said before, it needs to mix up a few things, needs to start working, and needs to get a copy of Vampire Survivors on the Switch. Ponko Ponsel, I know you're out there hard working to make it happen. You probably hired some more people since you quit your job even, so way to go to you, Ponko. You're a great guy, and I really love your game. And it is going to be very high on the Dep Lewis Show 2022 Game of the Year list. So shout out to that game. Shout out to Antonio Belpesi. Hopefully he's having a nice, margarita pizza today and a glass of wine, Mr. Belpesi. Hopefully he's having a lovely day out there. So it's been a great week for video games. I definitely can see myself playing all of these games again next week. I'll catch me on the Splatoon 3. Catch me on the God of War Ragnarok. Catch me on the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, possibly with some friends. I got some backup there. So you better duck, you better watch, you better cover. You better check yourself before you get capped in your ass. And I played some Vampire Survivors. And then I plan to play some Olli World and Neon White. So I plan to have at least some type of commentary or some type of conclusion for what I think about those games next week. Especially with Olli World is kind of my second run through that game. But Neon White, I need to try it out because I think I saw it was either a TikTok or something of one of those levels. And that game just continues to look cool. And I really can't believe that I haven't played it yet. But there's just tons of games to play, and this has been a great year for them. So that is the What I've Been Playing section. We're going to take a quick break here, and then we're going to come back for the What I've Been Seeing section. I have quite a bit of things I've been seeing this week, which is a little bit surprising since we're at the end of the year, and the game releases have been slowing down, but I guess from what I'm noticing, that's when some news is picking up. So there are a few releases to talk about, and there's just a few things I've seen, so I will be back in just a minute to talk with you about those. And please come back and join me. And so, thank you. Be right back. Welcome back, loyal listener. This is the middle section of the Dep Lewis Show, episode 9. This is a section where I like to talk about what I've been seeing out there in the video game world. And there's actually a lot to talk about this week, so we're going to get right into it. My homework from last week was to watch the new Fire Emblem Engaging with Emblem's trailer. This is the most hyped, most anticipated video game currently of the Dep Lewis Show overall, so this is the top on Mount Rushmore of the most anticipated games. It comes out January 20th, 2023. So from my calculations, that's probably like 46 days off, so 45 days or so away, and then we can be playing the Fire Emblem Engage. I just watched this new trailer. It was like 4 or 5 minutes long, and it was really cool. It explains the emblem mechanic, which is an emblem ring that your character wears during the battles, and this will grant your team and your character with special abilities and powers. And the emblem rings will, they're linking you up with some powerful people like Byleth or Corrin, etc., etc. Marth, I guess, was one of them too. It looked like it might be evil Marth, but this game looks amazing. I just can't believe that the other game came out in 2017, and we're here 5 years later. We're gonna get like an upgraded, a whole new game. It's just gonna be awesome. I really can't believe it's here this early. I was kind of surprised when it got announced earlier in the year, and I really can't believe it's only however many days away from January 20th. So I keep, daily I keep thinking I should just go ahead and throw down the money for this game so I can be prepared. So this is one where I may be able to take a day off my normal job and be playing this. Hopefully, I guess it'll fall whatever the 20th is. Maybe it's a Friday, so that'd be great. I could maybe be playing this game at midnight even. So cannot be more excited for the Fire Emblem Engage. If you're a Fire Emblem fan, please go watch this trailer. It was really cool. I don't think it gave away too much of anything. It just shows off some of the new mechanics, and if you haven't played Fire Emblem, it would be a good example of what the game looks like and how it feels, and just that and show you how cool it looks, and it really is. Can't wait to play it. So the next thing that I want to talk about is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It got a patch on December 1st. It was a 1 gigabyte patch, so I heard someone mention that was kind of substantial. They I guess it was Game Freak or Nintendo put out a statement saying they were aware of the complaints and some of the issues and they're working on it. But I want to just tell you that I don't think this patch is solving the world with this game. I think it was more of a bug and glitch kind of fix thing instead of a performance update of any like strong magnitude. I was listening to RGT85 on YouTube, and he was kind of pointing that out, that he doesn't think this is a performance patch, and he doesn't really expect them to do a performance patch, is what his take was, and he was getting some hate for that. But that was just his opinion, and he could be right. But I don't know. Nintendo Life Alex was saying that this was not a performance update. He was saying it basically took the frame rate on some areas from 25 to 26 frames. I believe he said he saw one area where the frames decreased by a little bit, so it sounds like it just did some minor tweaks to the game, I guess all for the better, hopefully, which this game seems like it could use a lot of tweaks for the better. So at least they are semi-acknowledging that there's some issues with this game, but I guess they don't have any huge precedent for updating the performance of a game before, so it's a little worrisome. But let's see. I don't know. I think I've kind of gone in the camp of I probably don't need to play this game. A little bit the hype has passed. It doesn't sound like the actual core function of the game is that good, but I don't know. It's still one of those games that it's in my head a little bit, and like I'm even flip-flopping right now on it. But they got a patch. Hopefully they'll be getting some more patches. If that game can ever get to a real stable condition where it actually runs okay, then I would definitely consider buying it. But I think that's where I stand for it right now, especially with all this other stuff out to play. It just doesn't make sense to jump into that right now. So I'll probably keep keeping up with some news on that game and just checking in with where it's at and seeing if it's in a better state. So look to this podcast for some more information on the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And another announcement this week, that was a Nintendo Switch game I played back in the day. I didn't play too much of it, but it was really cool. It was called Monster Hunter Rise. This is part of the Monster Hunter series. This game was exclusive to Switch. And I think it was PC as well. So this game actually does look really, really good on the Switch, which is really, really cool, and something that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and Game Freak should take notice of. And for the people that are copping a plea for Pokemon saying that it's the Switch hardware that's causing it to run poorly, they need to talk to the developers at Monster Hunter Rise, because that game looks amazing. But the one thing with this game is that as good as it does look on the Switch, you were seeing PC version of this game running out there with a smooth frame rate, and you're like, man, that looks like the best way to play this game. So it's just a little bit of a concession for playing this on Switch. Obviously, you get the handheld, so that's a positive argument for it on the Switch. And if you only have a Switch, that's a positive argument for it too to play it. There's no reason you would not enjoy it on there. But now there's going to be an option to play this game on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and they gave us a release date. It's January 20th, 2023. So the same day as Fire Emblem. That was the only little bit of a like womp womp or a damn it thing when I heard this announcement, because I was like, man, I'd like to play this. But I don't think I'll be playing it that day. But it looks like it has a $39.99 price tag, which is nice and a little more enticing for jumping into it. I don't have my copy on the Switch anymore, so this is something that possibly I'd want to buy. Maybe I'll get a hard copy for my Xbox, which would be cool. But this is a really neat game, especially for $39.99. You might want to check it out. You might want to check it out on the Switch right now. I think this game goes on sale, and I think it was on sale now that I'm remembering, but might be something to check out if you're interested. I think it might be on sale on Switch right now for a few bucks off or whatever, but just something to put on your radar out there. You can wait for these console versions, or you can play it on Switch or your PC right now, and I think you would enjoy it. So Monster Hunter Rise, a really cool game. Nice to hear that announcement this week. One thing I saw, this was not an announcement, but this is something in my notes. There's a Animal Crossing and Splatoon mashup concert that happened at Nintendo Live 2022. So the show kicks off with DJ KK Slider on the ones and twos, and he's out there just jamming. And then all these other people come on the stage. You got my girl Isabel out there, which is my favorite character from Animal Crossing, and she's on the stage clapping her hands. And I was starstruck. I was like, man, there's my dudes up there performing, and they're doing so good. And then the Splatoon music is performed later on in the concert, and it was actually like kind of a rock band playing this, so it was just awesome. I didn't watch the whole thing. I probably watched 20 minutes of it. I think it was like an hour long, but I have it saved in my queue so I can go back to this when I want something cool to listen to or just want to feel hype because it's KK Slider. But this was cool. I want to kind of know where Nintendo Live was because that was neat. I was wondering who got to go to that. There was a lot of people in there. I wonder what they were doing there. I have questions about this, but the main thing was I wanted to check out the actual concert of this, and it was really cool. So you should go check that out on YouTube if you want to get crunk with KK and the Splatoon and the Splatlings. So two of my favorite things mashing up right there. It was just epic to see that as a headline, and then they'd be able to watch some and see this giant KK on this KK Slider on the screen. It was just too cool. So shout out to both of those games. I really like them. If you didn't know. Another announcement this week was a game called Inscryption. It came to Switch on 12/1/2022. This game was first released October 19th, 2021, so just over a year ago. It's been on Windows, Mac, and PlayStation. It doesn't appear to have been on Xbox yet, but maybe it's coming to that. But it's now on Switch, and this game seemed mega popular, and it seems like it would lend itself well to a Switch version. It's an inky black card-based odyssey that blends the deck-building roguelike, escape room-style puzzles, and psychological horror into a blood-laced smoothie. Darker still are the secrets inscribed upon the cards. So even reading that little tagline makes me kind of not want to play the game, but all the hype has made me want to play it. And then some of the terms in that statement are things I like, but I just don't know if I'd like the aesthetic or overall vibe or look of this game, just with kind of the horror escape room style puzzle things. But they do have me at deck building, they do have me at roguelike, and and the cards, I guess that's kind of goes with the deck building. But I don't know, this game seems like something I could like. I think the art style would be a threshold I'd have to get over, which would just involve me trying this game out. But this might be something cool. This game is obviously very it's like critically acclaimed or whatever. People love this game, so it's cool that it's coming on Switch, like always. I hope that it's a good, well-running port of this game. I don't think the game is crazy intensive on what it's doing, but it looks really cool. And this seems like a game that'd be great to have on the go and in handheld. And just wanted to highlight that for you guys out there today. So go buy Inscryption for $19.99 if you'd like to. And that's INSCRYPTION. So they throw that Y in there. That's their little take on the word inscription. All right. And so something, I told you we have a lot of news this week. And it's not really in the best order of things, but we're just going to keep rolling down my list here. I'm sure everyone saw this week. It was a trailer for a movie, and it was involved. It's a Mario, in the Mario movie trailer. I watched the trailer. I don't know. I have, as I said before, tempered expectations on some things like this, and I definitely have it on this movie, but this most recent trailer made me think it was actually kind of cool. When I was watching this trailer, though, it seemed very formulaic, like they were trying to hit you every second with a Mario reference or a nod, and it just seemed a little bit heartless, I guess I would say. And then when I was listening to Nextlander last night, Alex Navarro was having really that same kind of take on it. He was like, it just seems like real formulaic. I don't know. That's kind of a dig at the thing, but you don't really know. It's a small clip of it. The characters look cool. I like seeing Luigi talking. It was really funny. He was trying to cop a plea and say he didn't know any other plumbers with a mustache who wear their. He's like, I don't know any other plumbers with a mustache who wear their initial on their hat. He's like, I don't know that guy. And then Bowser's there trying to shake him down. But even on Nextlander, they brought up the Sonic movie about how much of a surprise that was. So that they were trying to allow this one to be a surprise like that. But you just never know. This movie is getting a lot of attention. It's got Donkey Kong in there, Bowser, Luigi, Princess Peach was in there, and Toad and Mario. Nextlander guys were saying Peach's voice seemed a little strange, and I wasn't immediately recognizing that while I was watching it or pointing it out, but after hearing them say that, I was like, okay, her voice was a little bit strange. But this movie has an April 2023 release. This is probably something I won't see in the theaters because that's not something I do often, but I could possibly buy this on DVD or watch it or stream it or rent it or whatever after it comes out at some point, just for posterity's sake and seeing it. But But if you love Mario, and mostly everybody does, you might want to check this. Especially if you got some little children that are into some video games, they could probably be pretty hyped for this. And that's what Alex and Vinny and Brad were saying. With this is a movie made for kids. So all these people online, judging it so harshly. He's like, that's what a lot of these people do, or a lot of people on podcasts, that's their job, blah, 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 blah. But ultimately, this is a kids movie. That's the demographic they're trying to hit. So if you're an old person, quips and whatever, your grievances at it are really kind of a moot point. They're really trying to sell this to some kids, and I don't think they're trying to make the most, heady, thought-provoking thing with the Mario movie. You just need to kind of sit there and enjoy it and have some fun, basically. So that's something people have a bad time doing out there. I feel like it's just having fun. So this would be a good, as long as it's kind of good, this seems like something that would be pretty fun to see. So shout out to that movie. All right. We got 3 more things to talk about here. Let's see. Let's just keep going down my list here. So Todd Howard was on the Lex Friedman podcast this week talking about some really cool things, such as Elder Scrolls 6, and he was talking about Starfield. I don't generally watch Lex too much, but sometimes he has interesting guests, so it's fun to listen to him there. Then this interview with Todd Howard was really cool. I just kind of watched the clips more so than the whole thing, but the clips were like 16 minutes long, so there was a lot of good information in there. He was talking about Skyrim, and they were talking about the decade-long runs these games have, and he was talking about how people are still playing Skyrim, so they're building the next game to last decades. So he didn't really give any clear details on when Elder 6 was coming out. He said he would love to have it out right now, but basically these games are huge, and they're considering more now than ever that these games are going to have a long tail or a long life to them. So they're really trying to make sure that they put a good product out there, and I'm happy to hear that completely, especially with, kind of something I forgot about Starfield. I feel like I'm not appropriately hyped for that game right now, and I should be, but this interview definitely helped me get hyped for Starfield. It also made me want to go back and play Skyrim some, which I don't think I'll do, but, I could do that and it would be fun. But they were talking about Starfield. They were talking about the lonely experience of going to an empty planet, which will happen in this game, but you still have resources that you want to get there. And you can also set up shop there and start your colony, which sounds cool. So it sounds like this game is going to have a lot of freedom. Probably have a little bit of open world jank, but he was basically talking about the method of designing this game and trying to make the world, so massive, but also make it interesting and unique and have the different areas feel differently. So it sounds like they're really taking into consideration everything everybody would want. They talked about the different planet generation was possible. He was talking about developer stuff, but he was saying they were able to create these tiles that they could use to replicate over and over the different worlds, and it allowed the the processing to actually take place for it to happen. But it was interesting, and it was over my head, but it was a really, really cool interview, and makes me very excited for Starfield. I still don't think I looked up when that game comes out, but it's supposed to be sometime in 2023. And then Elder Scrolls 6, I don't think we're looking at that till maybe 2026 or something really far down the road, or maybe 2025 or something. But it seems like we'll see that on these version of consoles. And I heard it was also on Nextlander. They were arguing that we could see a longer tail with this console cycle, since we are 2 years in now, and we're barely seeing any games that are designed or developed exclusively for these next gen consoles. So he was saying, I think it's 8 years maybe might have been kind of a typical console release cycle, and he was saying he could expect this to get up to 10 or something. So we could be holding on to these consoles for a little bit longer than we usually do, which I would be very happy with, because I have all these consoles, and I would love for the exclusive games to these consoles to start rolling in, and I'd love to be able to have them for a long time, because consoles aren't cheap to buy, and it's a big decision when you buy a new console. So I don't know. I think all that stuff's going great, and obviously I'm very happy with the video game world out there. But you should go watch Todd Howard on Lex Friedman if you'd like some information on the Elder Scrolls. They do some talking about NPCs on there, about like how they design the NPCs. I'm trying to think what else they were talking about, but really good Starfield, and a little bit of Lex was kind of grilling them a little bit on the Elder Scrolls thing, but there really wasn't too much to say there. It didn't sound like, or too much he could reveal at this moment. But that game is in development, and that makes me happy. So that's really cool. All right. Another update. So Witcher 3 is getting its next gen update coming soon. This is free for everyone who owns the game. It's coming out 12/14/2022. I'm going to go down this list of everything that's included with this update. and it's actually very cool. There's a lot in here. I've played a good bit of The Witcher 3, maybe kind of like a couple times even, but I've never completed it. It's just one of those games I respect and think is cool, and I could play one day, but there's just tons of stuff to play out there. But this new update, the official next-gen update, that's going to be free, so I think that's pretty nice. They're giving you a free update here. CD Projekt Red had all the love of the industry when this game was out, and they definitely lost some of it with Cyberpunk and that muddled release or whatever, if that's the correct word. So this seems to me a little bit of a goodwilly thing here of, hey, you want to play The Witcher 3 and have these updates to it? One of our best games ever. So they're going to add 60 frames per second performance mode, or 30 frames per second with ray tracing, except on the Series S. So those are your little options you can choose for which way you'd like to dedicate your processing power. They're going to add haptic feedback on the PS5, which I love the haptic feedback on that controller. That's definitely a big addition to any game. It's just a nice addition, not a big addition. It's a nice addition. It's really cool. They're going to add over-the-shoulder camera and photo mode on PC. They're going to add cross-save between PS5, Series S, and X, and PC. That's pretty cool. I wonder if they're going to have like an Activision tag or a BattleNet tag. They're going to have like a Witcher tag that you can log into, and you can continue your journey on another console. And that's really cool, especially as someone who owns both consoles. I think I actually have this game on both consoles too, digitally, because this game is on sale all the time. So I just love seeing that stuff. That stuff I never really realized that I would be into or like or would ever need, but it's just kind of a nice little luxury to be able to cross-save on these things. I think it's just the way, and also I think it's the way that video games are going in general, so it's just going to be par for the course as we go. I'm just getting to reap some of these early benefits with these things as they become more apparent, but it's really cool. They're also adding button shortcuts for sign magic. They're going to have a map filter to remove the flood of question mark symbols, which that is a little overwhelming, even in my experience. They have the option to have mini-map disappear while on horseback or during combat, so that'll help you immerse yourself in the world a little bit more without seeing the overlay of the UI. They're going to add bigger subtitle fonts if you would so choose. They're going to have a quest line for acquiring gear inspired by Henry Cavill's Geralt portrayal in the Netflix series. And apparently he's not on that series anymore, so I guess they're going in a new direction there. If they're doing a new season, they're not going to have Geralt, Rivia, I think is what it is. But they're going to also have optional Netflix-style costumes for Ciri, Yen, Triss, Dandelion, and the Nilfgaardian soldiers. And they're going to have also updates of other more granular graphic options, updates, and bug fixes. So pretty substantial. That was at least like 8 or 9 or whatever lines of updates and things. And the ones that really stand out to me are the 60 frames performance mode, the haptic feedback on the PS5, the cross-save, and the map filter, I guess, is kind of nice. Some of these things to kind of help you get more immersed in the world that help you don't realize it's a video game are kind of cool, especially if you're not playing, if this is like your main game you're playing, you really want to live and breathe in that world. You might want to get rid of some of these video gamey type things that kind of could take you out of the immersion, especially if you're planning to spend a lot of time in there. So Witcher 3, something I own, seems very there's someone outside. Just seems like it's going to be a classic game. It's cool that they're updating it for next gen so people can keep playing this and possibly experiencing it for the first time, possibly replaying it, or possibly finishing it for the first time. So good on you, CD Projekt Red, for giving a free update. You guys can check that out on December 14th, 2022 if you own the game. If not, I think that game is on sale right now. That game is always on sale. So if you'd like a giant, massive game that's getting updated for next-gen consoles, I think that'd be a great one to play, especially if you're balling on a budget or just don't want to spend a lot of money on a game right now. It'd be a great option, and it'll give you a lot of time. All right. So the last game is actually a new release. Came out 12/2/2022, and it's the Callisto Protocol. This game is $69.99 for the next-gen versions. This is the game. There's some of the people from the Dead Space dev team have now moved over to this team. It's an upcoming third-person survival horror video game developed by Striking Distance Studios and published by Krafton. It's directed by Glenn Schofield, who previously co-directed the Dead Space series, so there's a very strong pedigree there, which was interesting. This is out on the PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and Microsoft Windows. So that's across the whole gamut of consoles and things out there. This game is set 300 years in the future. The player will take on the role of Jacob Lee, a victim of fate thrown into Black Iron Prison, a maximum security penitentiary located on Jupiter's moon Callisto. Players must not only contend with the horrors of the Black Iron Prison, but also the centuries-old secret that plagued Jupiter's long-dead moon, both above and below the surface. Man, people are really yelling outside my house. What I've been hearing about this game is that it's a little underwhelming. I haven't actually heard any really post-release content on this game. I had to really go searching. They're saying the combat isn't so great, the story seems bland, the reviews seem bad, and it was kind of saying people might want to wait for the Dead Space remake, and I feel like that's really sad. I was watching one video on this, and it immediately made me just want to turn it off because I was like, man, this game still looks cool, and this review is really sour in my opinion of it. I don't know if I should be watching it, but I don't know. I would like to take in some more content on this game and just see what people are saying, but overall it's looking maybe like a little bit of a dud. This game, I was saying last week, would really have to just be getting rated well, and for me to want to play it because I'm not generally into like horror kind of games. I'm a little bit of a wuss, so this would be something that would scare me somewhat to play. But just a little bit sad to hear, but that was a big release. I think that's one of the kind of the last big releases of the year. And that Dead Space remake comes out in January, so that's a tough time. I think I said before that this game really needed to come out and make some waves for this to have any momentum against the Dead Space series. So now it's setting up the Dead Space remake to come out and just be heralded as the thing people have been waiting on. So I don't know. Just wanted to give that information out there that game is released. A lot of people were looking forward to that beforehand. I don't know if it's really been paying off well for them, but the Callisto protocol is out now for full price on the next gen and old gen consoles. So if you want to check that out, you definitely can. So that was what I have for you today on the what I've been seeing out there section. Let's just go over them again. You might want to watch that Fire Emblem Engage trailer, Engaging with Emblems. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet got a patch, so if you want to check that out and see if it's running any better, it might be a good time to do so. Monster Hunter Rise coming to consoles on January 20th, 2023. The Nintendo Live 2022 Animal Crossing and Splatoon concert was on YouTube. You can go watch it right now. Inscryption is coming to Nintendo Switch, or it came to Switch on 12/1/2022 for $19.99. There's a new Mario movie trailer for the Mario movie that comes out in April 2023. Todd Howard was on the Lex Friedman podcast this week, talking about things like Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield. Might be cool to go check out if you're interested in those things. Witcher 3 is getting its next gen update free for everyone who owns the game, 12/14/2022. And then the Callisto Protocol released on 12/2/2022, $69.99 for the next gen versions. And this is the game that was directed by Glenn Schofield, who previously co-directed the Dead Space series, but this has been getting a little bit of underwhelming reviews. So that's what I got for you. I hope that was some useful information. Hopefully something in there was interesting to you or helpful in a video game purchasing decision or for adding something to your radar to see. And if ever you have anything I haven't talked about or missed or you think I need to know, please email the DepLewisShow@gmail.com, and I will gladly highlight it on this show, especially if it's something interesting or what the people want to hear out there. So I'm just trying to give some good information of what's going on in the video game world, and hopefully you'll find it useful. So we got one more section to this show as always. It's our last section. It's the Miscellaneous Talk section. We got some sports talk. We got a little bit of book talk, and I think that's it for today. So we're going to take a quick break. Please don't go anywhere. Please continue listening. Please keep running the treadmill. Please keep walking the streets, walking your dog, cooking dinner, hanging out, playing a video game. Please keep listening, and I really appreciate it. So we'll be back in just a minute to get into the final section of the show. So be right back. Welcome back to the final section of the Dep Lewis Show, episode 9. This is the Miscellaneous Talk section. Today I want to talk to you about a book that I'm reading and a few sports things, and then I'll let you go for the week. But the first thing I want to highlight is the book I've started, The Lost Metal, part of the Mistborn series and the Wax and Wane side of the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. I think I'm like maybe 75 pages in this book now. Marasi has just pulled the metal out of the cycle, I think his name was. So there's a specific metal in this person's body that even after dying, it kept causing them to reanimate and come back and try to kill people. So Marazi has just figured out how to remove that and figure out what that's doing. So I think that is going to be the jump off part of this story. And I just want to highlight that I'm reading this. I didn't make as much progress as I would like, kind of with all these things, and I'm going to probably quit saying that at some point. It just is what it is. But you should go read this book. And Wax and Wayne is really cool. One of my friends just got his I guess it was a Wayne t-shirt in the mail, and it's just one of the coolest things out there. And if I was going to rank my books of the year, which maybe I'll do that next year, this would be pretty high up on there. Brandon Sanderson is probably my favorite author. Of just everything he writes is so enjoyable, it's so good. You have a fun time reading it. It's so interesting. He just creates these great fantasy worlds, and they're just fun to read. And Wax and Wayne is no exception. So please go read The Lost Metal. I believe the hardcover was like $24.99, around the low 20s. You can pay for this on Kindle, or I think you can even get a paperback of this. So please go read that. And I also wanted to point out that, thinking now that Brandon Sanderson, he had a big update to his store last week. You're now able to buy the leather-bound versions. I don't know if they're still up there or not, but the leather-bound versions of the first two Mistborn books, which are the Vin and Kelsier side of the Mistborn saga, not the Wax and Wayne. But you can buy those two first leather bounds for $150, and they're really nice looking books. They're really cool. And there's also other things that he uploaded to his site, like that shirt I was talking about, and other things. So I think it's brandonsanderson.com. If you just type Brandon Sanderson store, it should come up. But he has a lot of cool things on there, and it's all priced decently fairly, I would say, for what you're getting. So, and I just like to support that guy. So just highlighting Brandon Sando out there. Go check out The Lost Metal. So the last thing for this week is just we're going to get into some sports. We're going to talk about, I watched the World Cup yesterday. I was drinking beers in the morning, watching the World Cup. I watched the U.S. lose to Netherlands 3-1, which was pretty disheartening. When the U.S. scored their first goal to get it 2-1, and there was still some time left in the game, that was so exciting. But then the stupid Netherlands, they answered like pretty immediately. It ripped the hearts out of the U.S. fan base. We ended up losing, so it was a really tough match to watch. It was fun to be drinking beer and watching it at least, but the USA is out of the tourney. The next World Cup is in the US though, so I would say overall this was a positive experience, especially for US soccer fans, which kind of some are new to that, like myself. But I believe the US, they at least got to the round of 16, so they advanced. First of all, they qualified, then they got to the round of 16. They played that great game against England. They stood up pretty great to England, and we just got whooped a little bit by the Netherlands. So we also have one of the youngest teams out there from what I'm hearing. So it seems like in the next 4 years we're set up to be pretty competitive in the World Cup here on our home turf. So I think that's a great thing, and I had fun watching it, and I plan to still watch some of the World Cup. I just don't have a major dog in the fight anymore. But World Cup is epic as always, and better keep watching that because it's really cool. It only happens every so often. And especially good to watch it when there's a Sunday. I don't know if World Cup's on today, but one thing I do know that is not on today are the Carolina Panthers, because they have a bye this week. So sad day for the Carolina Panthers fans. We got nothing to watch today. But let's see. How much have I missed with you guys? I think I just missed the Denver game with you, which the Panthers beat the Denver Broncos, thank God. That game was on 11/27, and they won 23-10. I saw Steve Wilkes, the interim head coach, smile at the end, which that guy is always very businesslike and stone-faced, so seeing him smile was cool. Brian Burns and Derek Brown were balling. Luvu too. JC had some mistakes, but that dude is a dog. You can just tell he's all over the field. He's taking a little bit of chances out there, and he just stands out when you watch him on the field, so he's really cool. I hope JC can stay healthy and have a long career with the Panthers. Xavier Woods had a big stop too in that game. I really liked watching him all year. I think he's been a great addition for our team. I heard that the coaching staff was challenging him to play better last game, and I'm like, man, I feel like Xavier's been doing great, but he did have a big stop that game, so hopefully that'll boost his confidence and hopefully boost the team's confidence in him as well. Sam Darnold looked pretty good, and I hope he gets the start after the bye. I think I would choose this even over PJ Walker right now for how good he looked. I think Sam just has a good size. He was making good decisions and had some arm talent going on, but I don't know. We just need to see it over more time. And we need to see it against not the Denver Broncos, even though the Broncos have a great defense. Their offense just came out like a dud, and that's really going to harm any team in any game, even if the defense is elite. Or they're not elite, but they're really good. So after Denver, Panthers are on a bye. They'll be back Sunday, December 11th, 2022. So that's this upcoming Sunday, a week from now. And they'll be playing Seattle Seahawks at 4:25. So there are 5 games left to end the season. Panthers have a chance to try to snag the division. I have a chance to win my bet with my friend that the Panthers can get over 6.5 wins. I think I need them to win 3 of these last 5 to do that, so that's kind of an uphill battle, but we can see. Seattle's been having a good season and a surprising season, and that's definitely not going to be an easy game. But I think a few of the other matches that we have, I think we have the Bucks, I think we have the Saints, which those are division matchups, but I think we can get the Saints. I think the Bucks can be got, but they're tough. And then I really can't think of the other teams we play, but it should be a good end of the season. I'll be glad to get over this bye so I can be watching some football again next week and rooting the Panthers on. So hopefully they're having a good week. Hopefully they're having some good time off, but also preparing diligently for the Seattle Seahawks because they are some dogs. And then let's see, the last sports update for the week are the Atlanta Hawks. They kind of had a 50-50 week. On the 27th, they lost to the Heat. On the 28th, they lost to Philly. On the 30th, they beat Orlando and Paolo Ranchero, who looks like a mammoth out there still. They won against Denver 12-2. And the next upcoming game is against OKC on Monday night. So they're going to try to shut down Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and the boys if SGA is playing. So I'll be trying to check in on that game tomorrow. And, the Bill Simmons pod, he was this week talking about them shopping John Collins still. And that was just deflating to hear because as a Hawks fan, you have to listen to John Collins trade rumors every year for the last few years. And I'm sure John Collins hears them. And he's a good player, and his contract's not ridiculous. And I don't know why they keep wanting to trade him. It's like, I don't know. But the Hawks have been sort of mediocre. I don't know if they have the juice to make a real big run, but I don't know if trading John Collins is the move or if you just need to let these guys try to gel together for a little bit. Some of these teams probably just need to have some more patience than they do, but it's hard to do in these professional sports leagues when you got to win now. That's how it goes. But I'll be checking out the Hawks tomorrow night against OKC. Hopefully they can get a dub to set the tone for the week. I didn't look up the games for next week, but I'll get back to you next week with some more Hawks updates and let you know how my boys are doing. So that is going to be it for this show today. Thank you for listening so much as always. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed recording it. I look forward to this every week. It's been really, really fun. And I hope to continue on doing it. I hope to continue having listeners and it to keep growing. And for that to happen, I really need you guys to do some things out there for me. So please follow the Dep Lewis Show everywhere. Please like, subscribe, rate, comment, review, turn on notifications, and tell a friend. That would really help me out and help this show out. And then email any questions or feedback to DepLewisShow@gmail.com. You can do that 24/7. That email box is always open and always ready to receive your feedback, especially if it's good or nice. Full episodes of the Dep Lewis Show are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Patreon, and more on my bus route page. Please subscribe to my Patreon if you'd like to support the podcast with some American U.S. dollars. We have a tier right now. It's the first 100 can pay $1 a month for a general support tier, and that would be greatly appreciated for the progress of this show. You can check out the clips on YouTube and TikTok. Please like my clips on TikTok. I'm trying to get my voice and get my clips out there and get this show heard, so I think that would help. And I just really appreciate you. I hope you have a great week. It's the start of December. You maybe need to put out your Christmas decorations. Maybe need to buy some gifts. Maybe need to get some plans together. Maybe need to book a flight, plan some travel. Maybe plan some time off work. Maybe have some fun. Maybe drink some beers in the morning and watch soccer. So it's, as some would say, the most wonderful time of the year, and it's been pretty good so far. So hopefully that'll continue for me and for everyone else out there. And guess what? We'll be back next week for another episode of the Dep Lewis Show. That's going to be episode 10, and I think 9 is going to be the best episode, and then I think 10 is going to be even better. So please come back next week. Thank you for listening as always, and peace.
Yeah.